What's up, everybody? This is Amish Space. So I wasn't really gonna say much about this. I made a few videos, and I haven't actually uploaded them. Some of them are a little bit too high rate, and I really don't want to be all crazy on some of these videos. Because I do get really worked up, as everybody knows from some of my lives. But Will Duffy, the shill himself, Jaronism, Little Bell, and the whoever this, what is her name? Lizbeth? I don't even know who that is. I don't know why she's even in this. When it comes to women trying to get attention, women are always trying to get attention based on just what women are, like their main interests are. And I'm not trying to sound like a fake feminism and fake misogyny, because I think a lot of people misunderstand that. The truth is the truth, and I think just because the truth sometimes can sound hateful, it doesn't make you a misogynist or any of that. I'm gonna go into that, but first, before I go into that, I'm gonna keep this video short. Taboo Conspiracy and also No Fanfare caught something from Will Duffy's little live stream. Take a look.
Okay, a big thanks to No Fanfare for making this discovery. The source of the video you're watching right now comes directly from TFE's channel as an alleged live broadcast at midnight, supposedly showing a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I'm not here to say that the whole event was staged. For me, a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, if it were true, does not even come close to outweighing all of the evidence of our flat and stationary Earth, and I have repeatedly said that although I'm skeptical of a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, I think it's certainly possible on a flat Earth.
Yep.
But I found this discovery from No Fanfare very interesting.
What you're seeing there is the final experiment back overlay in a way. It's not over, it's under. So when you're actually doing videos, for instance, I have 20 years of experience in, or more than that, in video editing, like for special effects and things like that. So I know how to use Adobe, products and Adobe and what is it? Final Cut, all of these programs, After Effects, I've used them, and I've actually watched a lot of tutorials. Sandbox for video games. I was going to be a video game developer in high school, and I started actually studying it, and I didn't know the direction that video games were going to take, and I'm kind of happy that I didn't. I mean, a lot of times I looked up like to get hired as some of the designers, graphic designers, and you don't actually have to have a degree. All you have to do is send them your work in Sandbox, and if you're good, they'll hire you to make their video games and help develop them. So that was a huge saving grace, because I would have spent a lot of money in college for it, and it wouldn't have been applicable. You have to be good at what you're doing, and obviously Will Duffy is not. When you have videos or photos, everything is images. It's images per second, 30 frames per second, and you're going frame by frame in these videos to add these special effects in. So you can crop out and make a little mask, which kind of looks like what's going on with him there. You can motion track things. You can do a lot of things. As you guys have probably seen, I added a couple really simple edits in some of my music videos with some special effects that were actually just mine, that I learned on the fly with a different program too. But you're seeing his backlay, and I don't really know why that's there. If you are broadcasting from one of those particular programs, you can have a backlay, and that's under your video. So you're not going to see what's under the video unless you create a mask. And the mask will delete the overlaying area that you want to delete and then show another area. So if I was on live with somebody right now, I could create 4 squares and place myself in one square, someone else, and so on and whatnot. And if I bring the bottom layer to the front, then it will hide all of the other layers. And that's how special effects are done, which means that 100% this is some kind of special effect thing overlaying with his underlay underneath of it.
It seems that there was some sort of green screen malfunction that occurred during this supposed live video from Antarctica. I don't know what else you would call it. Notice how the TFE watermark right here is interacting very strangely with the edges of the patch on the jacket. I'm not a graphics expert in the very least, and so I don't know if this is proof of a green screen. But that watermark shouldn't do that, and it only shows up for that one patch on that jacket. I certainly think the video is now suspect. But what really bothered me was this. Check out the shadow from his arm.
So his arm is creating some particular type of shadow. I don't know what this guy had on his shirt, his coat there. I really don't. I don't know, but there is some layers involved. Now, you can create that particular type of effect with a green patch. So if you have an all green screen patch and you were to patch it over top of your chest or something, that part can be chroma keyed out. So if you want to erase the head off of a person, the person will wear a green screen mask. Now you would have to do something called camera mapping. And I'm not at my computer, I'm on my phone, so I can't show it to you, but it's called camera mapping, and you can literally just YouTube it right now, camera mapping. And you can put the background that's supposed to be there in place of that empty patch. Otherwise, that empty patch will show the layer underneath of it. It is a mask that's been cropped out. So there is some manipulation going on here 100%, and you can actually see it when it casts that shadow over top of the green, because the one thing you have to have whenever you're green screening is adequate light, because it's looking for a particular color tone. That color tone is a light green. Therefore, when you darken that light green, right, that's not the color tone it's looking for. Therefore, your shadow can erase it and overlap it, and it gets really ugly. So you can increase the intensity of the green screen to try to make up for the inadequate light. However, I don't think they're doing all that. I don't really know whether they're actually using a backdrop, but it looks weird to me. The footage, it's like all their footage is all them with some snow behind them. It's like they don't know how to point a camera out and walk around and do things. I mean, they're just acting real sus. I don't even see some of the other people that claim that they were actually there. That they're there now is what they're saying. But like I said, I didn't see any kind of footage. You would think that on a trip that costs almost $30,000 or however much, 35, you would get as much footage as humanly possible. You would bring all the cameras that you need to bring and get what you need to get. Now, they haven't supplied all of the footage, but I am saying this. This is the reason why I had problems with this whole final experiment thing to begin with, because of how stupid it is. There's a lot more things that are very important in the world that people need to wake up to. And instead of pretending that everybody can understand how high up the sun actually is and the way that it really works, especially in their elevation. I don't even know how high up they are, quite frankly. Upturned edges and things like that. I have no idea. So their elevation could be high enough to see a good amount of stuff, actually, and you know what I mean. It really could. And judging from the GoPro footage, where you could actually see the moon, I believe it was the moon that was shown in the GoPro footage over what's that place? Australia. During the GoPro footage, just look it up. So
onto the patch. That is most certainly wrong. I think everyone would agree that this is not a normal shadow. It looks like bluish plastic, or like the jacket cloth has overtaken the patch. This is not a shadow. So, what does this fact mean? If it were real, why would they fake any of it? Think for yourself, but don't put your faith in men who can be corrupted. What's also interesting is what Flat Earth Banjo mentioned here in the comments. According to Eddie, the live broadcast at supposedly midnight was actually live at 9 o'clock p.m. local time.
Yeah. I don't know about all that, but I do know that when I was looking at the time that they were saying that he uploaded that video or went live with that video that Jaron went live with, I was actually counting back to where I actually could see the sun at from my location on the East Coast. And something just seemed completely weird with that as well. So I do, however, I know Taboo Conspiracy doesn't, but I don't know how much work he's done in that. That looks like a shadow, and them lowering the shadow, and it's messing with that texture. But there is some kind of chroma key going on, and you can YouTube that term if you don't know what chroma keying is. There is some kind of chroma keying going on here, and it is affecting whatever that is there on his sweatshirt. I don't think that it would be a random green patch. I have no clue, but it is very weird that all that is showing up there. It's not really supposed to show up there, and I don't know why you would actually live stream with any of that. I mean, a live stream is a straight live stream. I don't understand why there's an editing chroma keying thing going on while you're live streaming. I mean, think about that for a minute. That's like me opening up a live streaming a video editing software and then clicking live stream and then playing it from the video editing software is what it looks like. You see what I'm saying? It's very strange. If I go live now, it's just live directly from my camera. So I don't know where this middle ground is going to. However, if I wanted to, I could open up a program, go live, and then press play, and then play that video like it's a live video. That is a possibility. It's very easy to do. Going live just means that whatever you're showing is currently live. It doesn't actually mean that you're actually live. There's been a lot of people in the past. There's a corrupted pedophile gamer that killed his girlfriend that recorded something 24 hours ahead of time and then played it live and acted like he was, he was saying, oh, I can't interact with the chat because my chat thing isn't showing up, blah, blah, blah. So he didn't, so that's how they caught him. But here's my point. This is the issue that I have with people like Jaron and people like Will Duffy and, prostitute Lisbeth and the rest of these people trying to pretend like this is something that should be shown. This is a lot of money to spend to go observe a sun in Antarctica when that's not going to prove anything. This is also the main reason why I say, and Nathan Oakley and many other people probably, I'm sure they would agree, that we don't live on a model. And I'm not going to ever use a model 100% because we don't have that ability to see every single thing that is going on Earth, and we don't have that freedom in order to do that. I think Max Egan is talking about taking some trip and all this other stuff where he wants to go. I don't know where he wants to go, but something tells me it has something to do with Antarctica because or the North Pole area and polar lands, and he wants to see if there's anything around. But I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I just know that when he says stuff like that, like he didn't reveal any details, it tells me that there's only a couple places that we're not allowed to go on Earth. So if you're trying to take an adventure of a lifetime and go a particular place, I really think that it's going to either be the northern area or the polar regions. Most likely is where it's going to be, the north or the south. I doubt any of them is going to go after the Sigma Octant, the South Pole Star and all this other stuff. That's another thing. But that's the problem I have with people doing these type of experiments, because this is similar to what Jaron did when he was doing his little Netflix documentary with all these gyroscopes and all these other things that these people want to use that aren't actually telling anything at all. And it's giving people the wrong idea. So he'll be responsible again for some more nonsense saying, oh, no, it just because there's this here, it doesn't mean anything. I'm still going to just keep doing what I do, but I'm going to keep hurting the flat earth community as much as possible because, that's just what I do. And that's basically Jaron. This is why he can't be in charge of something that he doesn't understand. He can't be the representative of flat earth going down here because this apparently is a very big budget thing. I mean, you decide to spend almost $250,000. I mean, that's a lot of money. I don't know what this Will Duffy dude actually does, But that's a lot of money for nothing. Because regardless of whatever it is that they show there, that just means that we need, it doesn't really mean anything, really, at the end of the day. Like I said, I don't know exactly how high up the sun is. And I don't know how high up they are. And also on top of that, I mean, there's other methods where it still is 100% possible. Okay, we're using our own perspective of where we are on Earth at the moment. But there's a lot of time zones that founded Earth Brothers, Flat Earth Brothers, founded Earth Brothers. What they have shown the time zones to have massive problems, where it should be dark in some places and it's light. So there's a lot of movements of the sun that we haven't actually 100% mapped out the way that it needs to be. That's why I feel like this particular fake experiment, that's really a false dichotomy, is a very bad idea. And it shouldn't be done by the biggest shills in the community. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, don't knock me. If I wanted to, I could spend a whole bunch of money and go there myself. I could go right now, but I'm not going to do that because, number one, you don't have the freedom to explore there properly. So it's not going to give me the free exploration that's needed to conduct a proper observation to begin with. You see what I'm saying? This is just wrong on so many levels. But yeah, manipulation of the video, that's one of the telltale signs and stuff like that of the problems with trying to do this with Will Duffy, the biggest show in the world, and stuff like that. I mean, all these people are is agitators. That's all they are. And they're paid a lot of money to do this. So back to what I was saying about that. I don't want to sound misogynistic on a lot of this because I know a lot of people might think that sometimes when I say this type of stuff. But I already showed a post about the OnlyFans culture and how it's all 20-year-olds to 40-year-olds doing all of this, because the older people that are 50 and above count for 1/3 and the people under 18 count for 80 million. So that only leaves the other third. And that is the third, that's 120 million in America that are actually addicted to this OnlyFans and subscribe to this OnlyFans crap. So the numbers actually add up perfectly right with what I'm saying. And a lot of people don't realize that. But if the women had more respect for themselves and they weren't objectifying themselves, right, they would not be doing this. And when you stereotype, I understand that stereotyping is a fallacy, but I feel that it's applicable in certain situations. Meaning that if the world is under social engineering, which they are under, okay, if you can hear me out for a second, if the world is under social engineering, how many people know who Taylor Swift is? Way too many people. How many people would know Taylor Swift if Taylor Swift wasn't being curated to show up on your feed and on the news and being broadcast worldwide? How many people would actually know who it is? Hardly any. That's the way that all this works. When people get propped up to be prominent figures, they're pushed. And then everybody who falls into that category and likes these people, worships these people, and goes to pay their tickets, how many children know Taylor Swift? I mean, honestly. So that means that they fall into a stereotype. In a normal world, yes, stereotyping random people with their own thoughts and actions is wrong. But we're not like that. How many people think the earth is a globe? How many people think the earth is a globe? I think that actually shows right there the whole stereotyping fallacy situation. Or it's really not a fallacy at this point because it's being applied to a general observation by a socially engineered, manipulated algorithm. So I am primarily correct when I say that the majority of people know who Taylor Swift is. That is not a generalization. That is not a stereotype. That is statistically true. And that's why I say it. So if women actually want more respect, there's a way to get the respect. And that's to bash the other women that are prostitutes, that are becoming leaders and influencers in our community. You can't just, oh, I'm not like that. Okay, there's one. I'm not like that. Okay, there's two. How many other ones are like that, though? More than what you know. Look up the statistics. So don't call me misogynistic, by the way. I'm not. I just know the majority of this culture here in America, 120 million people, are active OnlyFans subscribers and users. That's what I know. And that's a very big portion, considering the children are not even taking account for this, which there are some underage children on there, I'm sure, which many have admitted. So don't blame me. It's statistics. This is just the way it is. Don't blame me. The truth can hurt sometimes. I understand. Don't blame me. That's just the way it is. Anyway, this is the problem with this. So you all are starting to see it now. This is the big issue with this. This is the really big issue, is that they introduce these things that are manipulated, and then their credibility drops all the way to the ground. So nobody can take anybody serious now at this point because of this. Think about it. Think about it. I almost call it self-sabotage. I do. I almost call it self-sabotage. But who knows how much money Jaron got paid to go down there? Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure Jaron would sell out the Flat Earth for $30,000. I'm sure. That's a small amount of money to sell out. But for him, maybe that's a lot of money. Who knows? Anyway. This is Amish Space, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying their day. I'll see you.